To get straight to the point, I bought a Storzandbickel Mighty Vaporizer. I absolutely love it, and I couldn't find a video online doing a detailed unboxing and first impressions, so this is my best attempt at it. So let's get started with the outer packaging and box contents. As you can see here, my box is a little beaten up. I've had my Mighty for a few days now, and as you can guess, I have had it in and out of the box a few times already. But anyway, you can see the box is brightly coloured with a big picture of the Mighty on the front. As we take the sleeve off and open the lid, you'll see we get plenty of stuff in here. Start out with the quick start guide and dismantling cleaning card. The full manual, which is in like 5 or 6 different languages. It does look overwhelming, but thankfully the English part of the manual is only about 20 or 30 pages long. It is still very, very in-depth. You get this nice little brochure that says welcome to the family, which I thought was a very nice touch. You can see all the other things you're going to eventually buy. And you also get these really cool stickers. They're not the coolest looking, but they are metal backed, and I imagine they'll end up on something. There's the device itself. I'm not sure why they put it in this open-ended plastic bag, but there we are. It also comes with what's called a filling aid, which is this weird little funnel thing that I will get into later. It's not my favourite thing in the world. Grinder, which is okay. There is no magnet, there's nothing to hold it together, but it is pretty solid, and it does have a little storage capsule in the top. The brush is brilliant. It's natural bristles, little wooden handle, and seems to do the job really well. Just get rid of that extra little bit of cardboard packaging there. And the last thing you should find in the box is another box. That should have inside it the O-rings and replaceable parts, screens, a dosing capsule as well, and the AC power adapter. Now this should come with the regional plug based on where you live. Get rid of that cardboard box. Right, so let's now take a look at the device itself. Get it out of this crappy little plastic bag. As you can see, it is very robust. It's quite weighty. It is well engineered and well put together. You can see that all of the pieces and parts fit together exactly as they should. There you've got a little plastic stirring / tamping tool. There's the charger and the power button, and then on the front you have the temperature down and temperature up buttons. One short press on the power button turns it on and off, and as you can see, clicking and pressing up and down through the temperatures is a very, very straightforward process as well. Hold both buttons down for about half a second to switch between Fahrenheit and Celsius. Oh, and we will just turn it off before it gets too hot. The next main features we'll take a look at are the oven and the cooling unit. Now the cooling unit's really easy to remove. You just twist it off 90 degrees and twist it back on 90 degrees. The mouthpiece is even simpler. You just swivel it out and swivel it back in. It goes in either direction. A simple, straightforward, effective design. Now if you remove the cooling unit completely, we can take a look inside the oven. Now the oven is one of the Mighty's main standout features. It uses both convection and conduction heating, which gives it its hybrid name, and that means that it is twice as good and twice as effective at vaporizing your herb. It's an absolute joy to use and creates really, really big, fluffy, thick, flavorful clouds. The other main reason why the Mighty's clouds are so spectacularly wonderful is the cooling unit. Now, as you can see, the cooling unit is equally very well designed and well considered and well engineered. It is covered in plastic fins, has this removable, replaceable mouthpiece, comes in titanium and glass variants as well. Third parties make those, we'll get into that later. And as you can see, if you unclip the top clasp, you can remove the base portion of the cooling unit. Now it is a very tight fit, which is as it's supposed to be because you want it to keep all that gunky, sticky stuff on the inside. It's got all of these cooling fins. It creates a nice long air path which allows the vapor to cool down before it reaches the mouthpiece. It's a very tight squeeze to get it back in, but as soon as you do, clip that clasp back on and you're good to go. Now let's take a closer look at reattaching the cooling unit to the main body of the device. As you can see, it does have these nice big notches, and all you have to do is place it perpendicular to the device and turn it through 90 degrees. It has these big stoppers on there as well that keep it from going too far, and it won't turn back the wrong way. It does go on both ways, which is a nice touch. As you can see, it's also supported underneath by these big brackets that make sure it stays in place. And overall, they make sure that the Mighty feels sturdy and solid in hand. The next parts we'll unpack and take a look at in detail are the O-rings and screens and various other little bits and bobs that come in this baggie. Get that last stubborn O-ring out of there. Right, so if we take off the mouthpiece from the top of the device, You can notice that there is a very small little O-ring there, which they've given you a replacement for. Fantastic. This big long one here, if you take off the top of the cooling unit and remove the base portion from the top portion, it is very, very tight and fiddly. Anyway, you can see around there, there is an O-ring that if it starts to degrade or tears or looks like it's about to rip, just replace it. As you can see, there's another one there at the top of the base portion of the cooling unit. That can also be replaced too. The fourth one is around the base of the oven. It's a nice big thick one, and I imagine you can probably use the poking, stirring, tamping tool to get that out if you need to. It does look a bit fiddly. The other items you get in the bag are a dosing capsule, a liquid pad, and 3 gauzes. They are to replace the gauze in the base of the oven and the gauze in the base of the cooling unit. This pad is designed to support concentrates, any kind of liquid-based vaporizing that you're going to be doing, and this is the dosing capsule, which I think is one of the best parts of this device. A lot of people complain that they're too fiddly or they break or bend, but as you can see, they're very flexible, very well made, and the lid goes on really nice and tight. Now the next accessory we'll take a look at is the filling aid. Now the filling aid was designed by Storz Bickel alongside the device, and it comes in the box, but personally I don't think it's all that good. You have to remove this top portion, the bottom portion, and that little middle portion that you just saw fall out. And then what you have to do is place this middle portion on top of the device and rotate it 90 degrees. The funnel itself isn't actually that bad. It does look like it might work quite well, but the rest of it makes it so fiddly and such a pain to use with all of the extra layers that I don't actually find it all that useful, and can probably just use a scoop or a spoon to place the herb into my oven. That being said, I use capsules most of the time, so I don't really have any use for this. However, if you would like an in-depth breakdown of using the filling aid, then leave a comment down below and I'm sure I'll find the time to make another video. The first optional accessory we're going to take a look at is the stand, which I think is one of the best accessories you can get for the Mighty, especially given that it doesn't stand up on its own. As you can see, it's a single piece of plastic. It's got this kind of rubber coating on the outside. And as you can see, it couples really well with the device. The Mighty actually has this little protrusion on the front that allows it to slot in really, really comfortably into the stand so that it's on there nice and secure. Now it does add a little bit of bulk to the base of the device, but you can still access the tamping/stirring tool and the power button and the charging port. Do make sure you put it on the right way. I wouldn't recommend taking this on and off all the time, because I do think it can damage that little protrusion on the front of the device, but I think if you're buying the stand, it's probably because you're going to use it all the time. The next optional accessory that I chose was the glass mouthpiece. Comes in this little weirdly unbranded box, and all you get is the mouthpiece itself, which looks like that, and 2 little rubber grommets, which are extremely important. Do not lose these. As you'll see, when we go to attach the glass mouthpiece to the cooling unit, those grommets are vitally important. So to swap the glass mouthpiece in, remove the original plastic mouthpiece. As you'll see, you're left with this nice big hole that is surprisingly silicone grommet sized. Then have to remove the base portion of the cooling unit, put that down. And then you'll notice the grommets have a thinner end and a thicker end. Keep the thinner end up and place the thick end into the hole and just gently massage it and slowly press it into that hole. It will eventually fit, although it might not feel like it at first. Keep pushing and it does eventually go down. It looks nice and straight and nice and even, and that's exactly how it should look. You can then hold your finger against the underside of the grommet, press the glass mouthpiece and twist it all the way in, and it sits nice and neatly, and it folds away exactly the same as the plastic mouthpiece. And just replace the base of the cooling unit, click it back into place, and you're good to go. The next 2 optional extras, which we'll take a look at together, are the box of 40 dosing capsules and the 4 dosing capsule carrying caddy, which has their Storzandbickel branding on it and the brand colours as well. We'll open up the capsules here. I haven't got all 40 in here because I've been using mine over the past few days, but this does come with 40 capsules and 40 caps. And the capsule caddy, as promised, I mean, I think I've only got 3 in here yet. 1, 2, 3, if it ever comes out, 1, 2, 3. You can fit 4 in there. As you see, 1, 2, 3, and I will just grab a spare one if I can find it. 4. They do fit in quite nicely. And the great thing about this is it's airtight, so it is going to protect the smell and the humidity of your herbs. Now, I am going through this all quite quickly, so if you would like me to record a more in-depth video refilling the capsules, cleaning them, anything like that, then please do let me know down in the comments and I will be happy to oblige. One other thing, if you're still paying attention, that I thought it might be worth showing is how to replace the screen in the base of the cooling unit. Now, it is a very simple, straightforward process. All you have to do is remove the base of the cooling unit, and as you can see through the little air hole, you can actually see the other side of the screen. Now take your stirring/tamping tool and just press through that hole and it should pop out. There we are, place that onto the side. Take our new one. Now there is a little trick to this. If you shape it into a dome, gently using the tip of your finger, as you'll see that I'm doing here, it is a little bit fiddly, but if you can be quite neat about it, you can make it into a little dome and then it just drops in. And then all you have to do is press on the top to flatten it out, maybe use the stirring tool to just neaten it all out, and hey presto, you're done. Then all you have to do, same as before, reattach the base, make sure the O-rings aren't pinching in that tight little gap, squeeze it all together, clasp back on, mouthpiece down, and done. Now there are a whole bunch of other things I did want to cover, but this video is getting a little long, and I figured you guys could leave some comments on YouTube or on Reddit to let me know what else you'd like to see me do. Now I am going to record a full session, loading, unloading the capsules and the oven, cleaning, maintenance, that sort of thing. So those videos are all in the pipeline, but do let me know if there's anything else you'd specifically like me to run through, and I'll be more than happy to do it. For now, here are my closing comments for this introductory video to the Mighty Vaporizer. Now again, I do have a lot to say about the Mighty Vaporizer, but I will try to keep it brief for the purposes of this video. The first thing I'd like to say is that the Mighty Vaporizer is incredibly simple, incredibly reliable, and incredibly well made. The German engineering really stands out here, and you can absolutely see that they've taken a lot of time working out exactly the optimum way for this device to be designed and produced. The next thing I'd like to touch on are the great in-box accessories. Now, Storzandbickel could have just given us the device, the charger, and maybe the stirring and tamping tool, but instead they decided to throw in a free grinder, free filling aid, spare O-rings and gauzes, a cleaning brush, a whole bunch of things that allow the user to get up and running straight away and keep their device clean and running well for a long time. The next great feature, which I've already touched on, is hybrid vaporizing, which again sets the Mighty really far out ahead of its competition. The next feature I'd like to touch on briefly are the various loading options. Most vaporizers don't have official branded dosing capsules, especially not ones that come along in the box with the original product. In fact, most vaporizers don't have a dosing capsule option at all, and those that do most often rely on third-party designers to design capsules for the product. Next is the range of optional extras. As I've already mentioned, the Mighty Vaporizer has so many accessories that you could buy, and they are all great. I know I personally don't agree with all of them, but they're all well designed, all well manufactured, and all fairly priced. Another great feature that goes almost without saying is the great battery life that comes along with the Mighty. Another thing worth mentioning, which I've already covered in a lot of detail in this video, are the easily replaceable parts. You can replace O-rings, screens, the mouthpiece, even the entire cooling unit is available on their website to replace. And last but by no means least is the amazing vapor quality produced by the Mighty Vaporizer. It really is industry leading when it comes to portable vaporizers, and it has set an incredibly high bar for its competition to reach. Look out for the next video where I will do a full performance review of the Mighty, including loading it, cleaning it, all that sort of thing, where we'll really get to know it in detail during a session. Now all that's left for me to say is thanks for watching and happy vaping.